Hello, and welcome to Season 3 of Super Prose Bros. I am Player 2, Eli, and with me, as always, is...
Player one, Ike, and Bro Pesci. Did you know this podcast is on YouTube, SoundCloud, and Spoofy?
I did not bro Sidon, Lord of the Broshin. Are those the places the people could
Like,
comment
Cherie.
and subscribe?
It sure is.
Just trying to think of the trash accent I could throw at this. We've offended a whole host of people.
You're welcome, losers.
There's such thing as bad press, I guess. It's been a bit for us. What have you been up to lately?
Let's see. Uh, because of a trip I took yesterday,
Hmm.
I had to do therapy earlier in the week, so I did it after work in like a conference room at my occupation, and through a series of miscommunications, my presence was not known, and basically everybody left. And so I was stuck in this place that's gated, and I know has a like an alarm set, and so I'm just like, I can't walk out. And if I walk out and jump over the fence, like, good chance I'm not going to be able to jump over the fence. I'm not that fit anymore.
Sure.
And also, like, then the bosses are going to get a weird call. They're going to go look on footage, and then I'm going to get either a talking to. It's weird. So now I have to make these calls, and like the first like 3 people didn't answer their phone. I'm like, I just want to go home. And finally, the last person picked up. Somebody came by and got me, but that was fun. Did have a. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
So just being trapped at work.
Yeah, I don't like being
everyone's
trapped.
favorite.
Yeah. But got some insight, which was very necessary because this last week, starting, I believe, on Sunday,
Yeah.
thereabouts, I matched with this really cool person on Hinge.
Nice.
And so in the last 7 to 8 days, I think we've talked on the phone in and around 15 to 20 hours.
Good heavens.
Going for the record. And that has been, like, by and large very effortless. In fact, one of those sessions, this sounds so absurd, one of those sessions that was 2 hours was cut short intentionally.
Damn.
Yeah, we be some chatterboxes out here.
The vibe. They be happening.
Oh yeah. To wit, after this episode is being finished recording, I am jumping in a shower and then meeting her for some Korean barbecue nearby. So fingers crossed. If you're hearing this, hopefully things went well. Wish me well. Whatever. Yada yada.
Oh yes.
But yeah, the vibe's been immaculate. So many things in common. So many good everything's. I'm doing my best to not think about fucking this up and just kind of trying to be in the moment. Other absurdities that happened was went to the gym this week on Tuesday.
Okay.
And there's a guy in there, takes a shower, gets out, realizes he doesn't have a towel. So, and our gym doesn't offer towels. So then I watched this man use so many different things to try to dry himself, and I'm like, wow, what a dingus. So funny. How could you possibly forget that? Cue to 2 days later, I show up and I look in my bag, and I had done laundry, washed my towel, and forgot to put it back in my gym bag. So I'm there, sweaty as all fuck, without a towel. I'm like, the irony of thinking I was so much better than this moron. Fuck, now I am too am a moron.
Well,
so I got to
turntables turn.
Yeah. Exactly. And so I got to wipe myself down with my take a horror shower, light as hell, quick as a panther, and then wipe myself down with my dirty clothes and spray infinite cologne to hope to mask it. Worked, or my colleagues are either were too disgusted
it
or
wasn't
too polite to not mention it.
So it wasn't bad enough that they had to say something.
Or it was so bad that they feel like they couldn't. Then I think actually the same day, there's a teacher trying to explain probability explain probability to a student, and they're using a dice. And this other student starts talking about roulette. And I'm just like listening to him to get the percentages wrong. He's like, yeah, like the probability of you hitting, if you choose red, the probability is like 37%. I was like, no. Just like it was like I was letting it go by and just kind of like answering emails, and then he said this number. I was like, no. It's bad. It's not that bad. Like the casino is fucking you. They're not doing like, but like
they're
it's
at least using
consensual.
lube.
Yeah, they're not just grabbing you. Like they asked you if you wanted to, and you were like, "It looks like a good idea. You look like a great guy." And no, they weren't.
They're not shaking you for your milk money.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, what is
it? They just have herpes. They don't have full blown AIDS.
I mean,
they're not killing you. They're just making your life miserable.
It's 18 out of 38. That's what, like 46% or something.
Yeah, thereabouts. There are some casinos that are getting a lot more audacious, rather, and they're putting three zeros. There's a 0, a double 0, and a triple. So I'm just like,
what?
Do you not have enough of these people lunch money? What the fuck?
It's like, what? Was the game not making enough?
It wasn't rigged enough. We need to rig it more. The rigging, it's not holding.
We're not raking them over the coals hard enough.
Yeah. So, but then my focus shifts. I go back to looking at emails. And then then I hear something about, oh yeah, like 1 in 6. And the kid's response is, yeah, 1 in 6, just like Russian roulette. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what is wrong with your brain? And he starts like explaining and then going on and having this discussion about the difference between Russian roulette and rolling a new die. And like, it was just the most like wheels off the bus go bloop, bloop, bloop. Like it was.
He's not technically wrong.
Well, I mean, he isn't because there's no replacement, right? Like depending upon how you played Russian roulette, if you don't respin the chamber, then it changes the percentage.
Okay,
which became part of the discussion. Also, initially, somebody who's just the most like, look, I've shot a gun like twice in my life. I've never owned one. Probably never will.
Sure,
but definitely showed somebody gun knowledge when they were talking about it. And I hear, yeah, you spin the barrel. I was like, no, you don't. No. That's not the thing. That is absolutely not the thing. They're like, well, what is it? The barrel
is fixed. It doesn't spin.
They're like, well, what is it? I'm like, I damn sure know it's not the barrel.
I think it's
not the handle either. It's the chamber.
Yeah.
But it was just so funny. Just like, yeah, you spin the barrel. It's like, and they said it. There wasn't a pause where they're like, fuck, like, what's part of a gun? They said it so bold.
It's like they mixed like Russian roulette with spin the bottle almost. Spin the barrel.
Wow, what a terrible high school game that would be. For some people, it would have been the same if they had to kiss the geeky boy, aka this guy. But
7 minutes. No.
Yeah, spins it. Sees who it lands on. Fuck it, I'll take the gun. Just like goes to kiss that goodbye. But yeah, I mean, other than that, went to a tournament, did terribly. Friend of the podcast, John Bronze, won his second qualification. Good for you, my guy. Yeah, and then went and had victory nachos, and they were delicious. Ooh, also got grape fucking Sprite. Hell yeah. Thank you, Jack in the Box. I love that shit.
I haven't had Jack in the Box in a hot minute.
100% get grape Sprite. It's
grape awesome. Sprite.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I misheard grape initially as great. Like you were just like, this Sprite's fucking
damn, that's
great.
Some good Sprite.
I mean, like,
this is a tasty beverage.
Yeah, like, I mean, maybe they're fucking adding something in their soda machine. I don't fucking know. Like, you never know. Sometimes it's just
got the curly fries of Sprite.
Listen, man, fucking curly fries slap.
They do.
Why we cannot put the same seasoning that we put on curly fries on regular fries is fucking beyond me. It
Yeah.
can't be that expensive.
No. It's weird.
Windows alert, why are you so loud?
I thought a cat jumped on your lap. News alert. Why are you so loud?
Well, the problem is Riverside is so quiet, so I turn up my volume, so everything else is so loud.
No.
So like I have nothing else to open my computer that makes sound. So when I get fucking jump scared by doo at like 90 decibels, it's just like ah ha ha.
Anyway, other than I mean, a lot of my week has been taken up by talking to this lovely lady
Yeah.
who
I'm gonna say it's half a fucking work shift.
Yeah. This is true. And arguably more work than I do my whole entire week. All right. What you had going on this week, bro Chacho?
So the last couple weeks have been a little interesting. So the week before Labor Day, so other than doing my typical like ramping up more swimming, which we're getting
How's
there.
that going?
Actually pretty good.
Nice.
I went Thursday and swam 1600. So I did 8 sets of 200. Fucking
Do you do
exhausting.
the same? Do you do like different strokes?
No, I've just been doing crawl, like freestyle.
Okay.
I may eventually try and fuck around with that, but that'll be later.
Yeah.
But I was very happy because on Thursday, like, so my usual interval, so the time per lap plus rest is like what I'm counting as an interval.
Mm-hmm.
And so my average time has been like 73 seconds or something, all told. And so like Thursday, I got it down to like 68 seconds. Yes, progress.
Fuck yeah.
So I was also surprised I could do sets of 200. And it wasn't just beating my ass. So I'm very happy.
Hell yeah.
But so other Eli, they're the person they live with, Sarah, got COVID.
Balls.
And so they're like, oh, well, I'm not going to be living at home. Because they don't want to catch it. They don't want to deal with it. And like masking up and avoiding people you live around is really awkward. Okay, so they ended up just like living out of my place Thursday, Friday on before Labor Day weekend. Which is cool to have them around. And it was really cool to come home to somebody like Thursday. I was like, there's a person in my house. This is so nice. Kind of goofy, but it was nice. And Friday night for Labor Day weekend, we basically went on like a double date with Murphy to go to a cabaret show.
Nice.
I want the fucking charisma that the guy who played like the low rent Satan had. He was like the kind of crowd integration person. Dude, that man is a fucking G. God damn. A couple times, like he asked, like, anybody here like for a anniversary or anything? And someone's like, yeah. He's like, oh, cool. How long? Like 5 years. He's like, fuck yeah, clap. Just like demand. He did a couple things like that. It was just great. Like at one point, he had somebody come up on the stage and like dance with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and the dude, God bless the dude who got fucking picked, like Todd. I fucking made sure everybody give it up for Todd, but like Todd fucking sent it. God bless him, man at heart. So that was a lot of fun. A whole lot of tits, a whole lot of ass. It's great. And also, holy shit, the guy who was playing Satan, I would have guessed he was like 30. Apparently, the dude's 40 and just built like a fucking brick house. I'm like, God damn.
Good
okay. So apparently, just being a stripper forever just makes you buff as shit. Who would have guessed?
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, I'll bet he also does a fair amount of weightlifting. Like The dude is huge. Anyway, um, so then Saturday, I ended up taking drugs because I had all the time in the world, and so did some LSD. Hid in my apartment because it was fucking hot and bright and sunny. I'm like, um, and in the morning, Eli was here. Watched some cartoon because they got me hooked on Steven Universe. The bastard.
Son of a bitch.
I knew. And then I did basically just rode that out the rest of the day. Tried to play League of Legends and forgot how my hands were supposed to work. That is really hard to do. There's so much coordination required. You don't think about it when you're sober. It's like, I'm good. Yep. And then Monday, hung out with you. Like Sunday, I basically just effectively hung over, in part because drugs, and in part because I had way too much sugar. I had this random crap. Like, I want Airheads. The problem is I crushed half a bag of Airheads. So, like, the sugar hangover was very real. And I'm say Monday, kicked it again with Eli. I basically just sat around being lazy because I could.
Hell yeah.
And so just the rest of the week, pretty much just basically Heimdall. I don't know if his little whimper came through.
I think so.
Okay. But like last night, Eli and I went out. We went to a kind of upscale hotel in downtown Seattle. It was like an early birthday present for me, and we were bougie bitches for a night. And it cost way too much money, but I could officially say like, hey, I've ordered room service, and like I had a fancy drink at a hotel bar, and et cetera, et cetera. Not worth the fucking money it costs.
No.
No, but I've done it. But it was a lot of fun, and went out and had brunch this morning. I'm a little disappointed in it. I'm not gonna lie. The place is really cool. The ambiance is really cool.
Dish, not so much.
The chai I ordered felt like it was weak, and I got like a biscuits and gravy thing, and they like burnt the biscuits, so it was like hard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this isn't like the soft buttermilk biscuit it should be.
You ruined it.
Yeah, so it was a bit sad. And then took like a nice walk with Eli through. There's an arboretum in Seattle. It was really pretty. And then yeah, that was about 2 hours ago.
So you talked about being sad. And just like that feeling, today we're talking about shows that once made us glad and then made us sad, and shows we weren't sure about that made us happy.
I walked into an infomercial.
So basically, the conception behind this was actually a conversation you had this morning over dinner.
True.
Yeah?
While we were there, we talked about like because I said I had to stop reading some things. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't hack it. I just
couldn't no mo.
I couldn't stay interested. It was just killing me. And so it spawned our topic.
So we're gonna have two categories: moments that killed the show, book, or movie, wherein we were kind of about it or very about it in some of these cases, or wanted to be about it, and there was a moment or occasionally some of these are repetitive things, but by and large a moment where it was just like, fucking what? No.
Yeah,
and then we
like,
check the fuck out.
Yeah, it's just like I can't. It's a bridge too far. It's too stupid. We've seen this before, and nothing is different. It's the definition of insanity. There's a certain part where it clicked in, and just I can't hack it anymore. I can't hang.
And then in the second half, to revitalize our and hopefully y'all's beliefs in goodness and why to stick with the show, we're going to go over shows that or movies. I think these are all actually shows where we were like, I don't know, or I don't think so. And somebody or somehow we plodded forward and then hit this, just second wind of never giving up, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
So to go from bad to good, what do we have up first that we loved, but not so much anymore?
We have a show that both of us loved the start of, Misfits.
Dude,
Oh,
start of. I like.
what's
I
it?
liked it for the first two
That's the
seasons.
First two seasons were great. Like, but like on the rip, we loved this show. It was
Same.
literally the show's premise is literally a bunch of like
Teenage.
young offenders in
Yeah.
London get superpowers because of some freak storm, and it's great. Like, and the show is pretty well written. The character chemistry is really good, and they have a couple of hilarious like self-aware moments. Like one guy can turn invisible, and he goes and like basically steals money out of an armored car, and one guy just says, "We're a bunch of young offenders with superpowers, and none of us have thought to use them for criminal activity." Like, there's a lot of really good moments like that. And then everything is kind of fucked when they get new powers. They just factory reset what everyone has for a gift.
Yeah.
And it
Well,
just,
continue.
with some cause, like there is a kind of a plot driven moment for it. The problem is that, like, what they get, the initial powers they had was fundamentally tied to who they were and how their character behaved and believed.
Yep.
And the new set of powers had nothing to fucking do with that. And so the new set of powers just had they just became these stupid plot devices. But it had no emotional entanglement. It had no nothing. It was not representative of them at all. And the show very quickly felt stale. Like,
yeah, and also this is like nearly tied with the fact that one of the characters quit, which
yeah,
really didn't help.
That killed a lot of the character, like cast chemistry.
Yeah, the kind of
They
impish
lost the
comedic.
heel.
Yeah, they lost the heel, and they replaced it with somebody who just didn't read that way, and the changing of the powers and the dynamics and this and that.
After season 2, the show just kind of fell apart.
Yep.
Yeah, and like it, I went through season 3 and like into season 4, and they get rid of more of the original cast and just keep kind of substituting in people who just keep getting dumber and dumber.
Yeah.
It's just like, God, these people suck. Like, they're just
They suck.
I don't like them. They're bad. But yeah, that is absolutely when the season started. The show just kind of went to shit.
So our next entry on this list also involves powers. I love me a strong woman. Thus, the date that I'm having later, and also women just being characters with agency, being able to make their own decisions, being dynamic.
Sure.
I really don't like when they are written strong for the sake of being strong. You know, we got to have the kind of genital rewrite that is like the Ghostbusters and all that shit. It takes away, and it is too much of a soulless handout as opposed to a faithful and loving write up or rewrite for feminists.
Sorry, quick. I have a quick interjection because I think it was like Jenna Ortega had like a thing where she basically said, "I don't want to be a part of like rewrites for women." She's like, "I'd rather just have our own independent property. Like, I don't want to be Jamie Bond."
Yeah.
So I'm like, yes, 1,000% what she just said. Please.
Now, if only she could also act. Anyway,
fair enough.
Jenna Ortega might be. I love that she said that. Jesus Christ, watching her act recently has just been like, is this paced? Like,
I haven't seen anything she's in knowingly, but that sentiment was so perfectly resonated with me.
Oh yeah, no, that banger. Love hearing female actresses say that. Big fan. And I mean, it's really true. It takes away from the property.
Yep.
Jessica Jones was something I love. I think it's Christina Ritter, I think is her name. She has been in a lot of my favorite things. She was in oh crap. There's this movie that has to do with like somebody's like super hot friend. It's turning a dynamic on its head and kind of playing with it. She was like the bitchy best friend and she nailed it. She was basically the same role dialed to 1,000 in The Bee in Apartment 23. That show fucking slaps. And she like knocks it out of the park, bless you. Please don't. That would make for bad radio. So
Actually, I feel like it'd be tremendous.
well, you know what? If you think it would be tremendous for one of us to die on the air, call in now at 555-555. This isn't a real number.
It's a lot of digits.
It's a lot of digits. It's a extra area code. We're located in Antarctica. So in season 1 of Jessica Jones, it's set up that Jessica Jones is super duper duper strong. Awesome. Only problem is, in its realization, it looks so bad.
It's so bad.
It doesn't look, it looks like she's, the way we described it in the previs of this is that it looks like they did one take and then said, fuck it, and moved on. She's like the Queen Midas of strength. It's just so schlocky. But also, she's trying, but her character's supposed to be strong, and it doesn't look like she can throw a punch. And no offense, it really doesn't look like they did any strength training. So it's this weird in between. If they had dialed it where she literally has no muscle mass, she's just who she always was, and was just tapping people and they're going through a wall, I kind of wouldn't have enjoyed it more. Also would have given her power like a downside, which would have been kind of neat. Or if she had to like kind of throw a punch and had taken some fighting classes, also would have been fine.
Yeah, if the choreography just looked more convincing.
Yeah, but it was, all right, try and throw a punch, and that was her punch. It was like, this sucks.
Yeah.
I can't. It's just, it's this uncanny valley of super strength. Just like, pick one.
Yeah. It was the worst middle ground.
Well, not to get stuck in this middle. What you got next?
So I've got something I recommended, and I want to like this series. I really do. It's such a struggle for me to keep reading it. Like, so The Wandering Inn has this terrific sense of world building and this terrific sense of like power system, and it's cool. It's really cool. Oh my god, nothing is happening with the main character that matters. Oh my god. Like, she has no driving plot arc. It's just kind of things seem to happen around her, and nothing is really motivating her to do much, which is so frustrating. Like, and she has this constant disposition of not wanting to kill anything, despite having an incredible proficiency for it. And she's had 3 near-death experiences, and just like refuses to change her tune or to listen to everyone around her that is like, hey, this is just a fact of this reality. Like, her most memorable thing is that she is the person who's good at playing chess. Like, that is what people in town know about her, basically. Like, what pisses me off is that there is a side character who is another human who is teleported to this planet who has such a cool, convincing, and interesting story arc. So I've read 39 chapters of this. I think her story arc takes place over 8 of those. And it's cool because it establishes she's a runner. She works for the Runners Guild. And then she basically pisses off the status quo and befriends this noble lady. The problem is that she takes too many jobs to go see said noble lady, which you're supposed to split them up because they're easy, they pay well. Mm-hmm. So you want to divvy them out. Like, that's the unspoken rule that she breaks. So she gets her leg smashed, like in a place that it can't fix.
Okay.
So she can't run, which is,
Yay.
Yeah, the person whose whole identity is running suddenly can't run. And so the lady, the noblewoman, knows that she is not from their reality. And she goes, I'll fix your leg. I'll get your leg fixed. You tell me about where you're from. The problem is this woman can like literally glean information from what you say. Mm-hmm. So if she started talking about technology, the lady would know, and she'd know it's true. Or if she was lying, she's like, I could accidentally basically tell you about guns. I could tell you about bombs. I could tell you about computers, and those don't exist here, and maybe they shouldn't. And so she has to decline fixing her leg because she doesn't want to just tinker with reality, basically, by incidentally showing off science. That is such a more interesting plot arc than some dumb bitch refuses to kill a goblin and wants to befriend everything. It's
Why can't they be friends?
yeah, I'm just like Jesus, like, and she refuses to kill goblins even after she almost dies because of them twice. And I'm like, God, you're so stupid. Like, I want to like you, Aaron Solstice. I want to like you, but holy fucking shit snacks. Like, because you won't listen to what everyone tells you, you got another character killed, you nearly got yourself killed twice, but you refuse to change your tune. Oh my god, it hasn't changed after your third near death experience. For fuck's sake. I just, I can't. I can't fucking do it. It's killing me.
All right, well, to take that pain away from you,
Please do.
we're going to go on to one of the oddly, this is an interesting one that might be divisive and some people will get by me on, and I don't give a fuck.
Sure.
This is my podcast. Stay off my lawn. So, Game of Thrones, I think it's season 6 or 7, has one of the more exciting episodes that was very good rating fodder, and it was titled Battle of the Bastards. I believe this is the episode where Cersei. It's kind of weird because if memory serves, there's two halves of it, and the first half is gangbusters and so Game of Thrones. Cersei usurps everybody, does a lot of unhinged shit, and kills all of her enemies in one fell swoop. Sick. Such a move, such a payoff. It has a comeuppance. Awesome.
Come.
And then I believe it's the same episode. Maybe it's an episode before, but there's the Battle of the Bastards, where Ramsay Bolton, played by I can't remember his name from Misfits, but
This guy plays Simon.
yeah, the guy who plays Simon is such a change of character and was so cool to see, going from this very timid, relatively quiet, weak-willed person to playing Ramsay Bolton, the biggest, coolest ass clown ever.
Yeah, absolute scumbag.
Only
Tremendous.
second to Joffrey in being a douche nozzle. Fucking amazing.
Yep.
And all his talk up in the episode is so great. Jon Snow is being honorable Jon Snow, which getting a little tired, but cool, whatever.
Yeah.
In this land of douchebags, it's kind of nice to have a white knight of a sort.
Yeah.
And then they do this really awesome thing where Ramsay kind of plays this like fuck with you card and sends John's like one of his last remaining brothers. Actually, maybe just his it's second to last. Bran is still alive, but he might not know that at that time. To go to him, he has him prisoner. He's like, "Yeah, I'll let him go. Just go to your brother." It's like, all right, we've watched Game of Thrones for one episode. We know something's up.
Something ain't right.
Yeah, and so the boy goes running, and Ramsay starts shooting arrows at him. And early on, initially toying with him, and then later starting taking better aim.
Mm-hmm.
And right as John gets to him, arrow through the back, dead in his arms. Fucking awesome! Hell yeah!
Okay, here for it.
So, up until this moment, one of the cool things and one of the near constants in the show, as far as I'm concerned, feel free to message us at superprosebros@gmail.com or on Twitter @likeikes and tell me where I'm wrong on this one. But up until this moment in the show, like every single time a character steps out and reacts emotionally to something and not strategically, they are punished. Look at Ned Stark. Look at, this, that, and the other person. This is a cold land that does not give a fuck about your feelings.
Yep.
Then John does a very understandable but emotional reaction and runs by himself in front of it. Like, he got on his horse to go grab his brother and rode hard.
Mm-hmm.
Came up short, but he is way in front of his army. His army didn't follow him. They are still back where they were, as far as we can tell.
Yep.
And then he goes either on his horse or running. I can't remember. Either way, again, at the enemy by himself and doesn't die. This is a death move. This is always going to kill you in the show. Prior to this, you would just getting slaughtered. In traditional high fantasy, this is fine. We have plot armor. We are somehow super powered, angelic destiny, whatever.
Sure, we'll go with the honorable duel, whatever.
Yeah. This is not that show until this moment, and then it became that show for the rest of the series. Fine, but also I could give a fuck. Like, it's not even the best version of that kind of thing. And the reason people watched this was for the deceit, was for the, I don't want to say realism, but from the
It
break
was for
of
the
this.
it was grimdark that committed to being grimdark.
Yeah. Well, it's grimdark, but it also followed this, I don't want to say strict, but very consistent, like, get rewarded for being smart, get punished for being emotionally reactive, because this is a
Yep.
world that will not allow for that. And for a character to then not only charges in on this and fights this battle that his sister correctly was like, yeah, don't do this, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
And he does it anyway, gets in the exact position she said, and then gets bailed out because she went against his wishes, which makes sense, but also like super Deus Ex and fucking lame. And from that point on, I was just kind of like very cynically watching the show until it finished. Sad. All right, what you
uh,
got?
I think I've mentioned this one before. I I liked the start of My Hero Academia. I thought it had a lot of good charm to it. I I liked a lot of the early season. It felt pretty consistent in many ways. Like it did good with its power set, and then it started to not.
Oh.
And then the biggest offender was the main villain just gets to be busted because he's sleep deprived, and he I I'm okay with suspension of disbelief where like people get hit into rocks or something. Like, people get hit really
Yeah.
hard, they go flying and they smash into a wall and they get back up. Okay, you know what? Within reason, I'm down to clown for this shit, right? Like, it's a shonen show. Okay, I'll fucking roll with it. When you get punched through a building, through the entire fucking building, and you just get up and dust yourself off, no. When you have a power to make things dissolve into dust, but then you just suddenly start sprinting faster than the eye can follow, no. There is another character whose literal power is to be fast. That's his whole gimmick. That's his whole shtick. And you're just doing it on a whim. That's not your power set. Stay in your fucking lane. No. No. I don't give a fuck what rationale you have or what kind of experimentation is being done on this ass clown before this confrontation. He's rolling into this fight, sleep deprived, and he's supposed to die here. Like, that's the whole point. Is he is supposed to die here. He's going to get bailed out by somebody else, and he is just tanking hits from somebody who I think canonically is supposed to be one of the strongest dudes in the fucking show, and he's just taking them effortlessly. He's like a 16-year-old who isn't even like a bodybuilder. Like, that fucker should snap like a branch. Like, what are we talking about? What is this? Like like nobody takes hits from All Might and stands up.
Yeah.
Like, and that's part of why I love the start of the show. Is like nobody can take a hit except the people made to take a hit. Like, they make people to take punches from him deliberately because he's so busted. So when you have somebody that from just raw strength is almost comparable to him, and you have people effortlessly taking punches from him, you have destroyed the continuity of your show. God damn it. Like, you've destroyed it in the dumbest way possible. Also, apparently, I've heard how the story ends, and apparently it's really dumb.
Whew, got out of there right in time.
Yeah, apparently it ends. Fucking spoiler alert. That was obvious. Apparently it ends with like Midoriya losing his power, or like giving up his power. Like, he gives up all for one.
Mm-hmm.
And basically it's said he can't be a hero anymore because it turns out, yeah, you kind of need a power to be a hero. So they end up like getting him a mech suit so he can continue to be a hero.
Yay.
Woo! So stupid. All we've learned is that he was right at the start of the show. without a fucking superpower, you can't be a hero. You were right. Congratulations, sad child.
So next up, to solidify my love of feminism and all that. JK, that's not why I'm doing this, but it is in kind of proving a point. The show Weeds was, I had heard amazing things about it. It was like, all right, it's an interesting take on like crime. What if a woman got into it via like kind of had her Walter White moment, got into it because necessity and this and that. And it's this mom, this oh, what's it called? So like the suburban mom doesn't have many great life skills, was very much like the parent while the dad went off and worked. The dad has died. Now she's got to pick up the pieces, take care of her two sons. Love that dynamic. How is she going to do it? Has to figure it out. And through either family, friends, or I don't think it's his business. It's been a while since I watched the show. She ends up selling weed. She's bad at it. It's kind of adorable to watch her fail and try. Kind of cool. Literally, I think literally every time there is a problem in season 1 that she runs up to and cannot get past, instead of her character learning something, instead of her character, tricking them, doing this and that, I think every single time she gets in a bind, she literally fucks her way out of it. Rival drug dealer. Well, what if this pussy was magic? DEA agent. How about I sleep with you to make you forget your job? I need a loan of product. How about I fuck the guy that has the supply? It's like I think we've got like 6 to 7 panty drops in season 1 where she's not interested. She's not doing it that intentionally. Like it's not like, well, what if I traded this and she could like hose it up? Honestly, if she hoed it up, I'd have a lot more respect for her. It's just almost incidental. But that's the only way she succeeds, is just getting plowed. And it's just really annoying and sad. Also, that actress can fucking fuck off. Just always acts so high and mighty and is just the most annoying person on the planet Earth. It's the love interest in the movie Red, whose name I can't remember off the top of my head. Fucking hate her. But
I agree.
Just like, if your character is going to do that, do it intentionally.
Sure.
Like that, it says so much about the character, like when they are willing to do whatever. One of the coolest things, to harken back to one of our favorite shows or favorite stories, isn't that technically bad show, whatever. In Berserk, the character Griffith hoes himself out, literally fucks people that he finds disgusting to the point of tearing his skin off when thinking about it, but he does it because he wants to accomplish this dream. It says so much about the character and their will and all that they are willing to do this thing that they do not want to do.
Yeah.
But for somebody to be like, oh, pussy, and then just it's like, yeah. Like, if make it be difficult for her, make her not want to do it, but decide it's the right course of something. But it's just so like, oh, the drug deal, incidental, constant, and then also like the show clearly tries to like be pro like middle class mom from America, of like there are moments where they clearly try to like push for that a little bit, but it's just undercut by just being an incidental hoe bag.
Yeah.
Duh. Also, I think she then reprimands her son for like sleeping with a girl at multiple times in this first season because he's like a 16-year-old kid. Like, she's not like progressive about it, so it's clearly not something that she's just like, sex is like whatever, man. Like, that's not the thing that really she promotes. Anyway, to step down off this soapbox, what do we have up next?
The movie The Empty Man. It is a very frustrating fucking end. It is a very stupid end. I liked a fair amount of the movie, and it has this kind of weird feel like something is wrong. And it's a bit weird. The start is really cool, and there's a lot with the main character. There's a couple of really great ominous scenes. Like It is one of my favorite kind of dread-inducing scenes in a movie. I think where he's looking at basically a football field of people wearing hoods, and they're like dancing around a fire, and he looks away and looks back, and the fire is out, and they are all turned and facing him.
Ah,
And he takes one step, and they all take one step forward.
brr.
It's so cool. And he's like,
I'm pooping myself and holding
yeah.
very still at my own desk.
He does about 3 steps, and they keep mirroring one for one. He's like, fuck, and just runs, and they start running after him. It's just so ominous. Like, oh god, like it's got some cool shit like that. It's such a cool scene. It turns out he is fake. He is not a real person. He is literally conjured to be like a sacrifice or to be like a vessel for something. He is an imaginary person that people willed into reality.
What?
Wait, yeah, exactly. He is made so there's supposed to be this weird entity that he is going to be the host of. And so people literally, a bunch of fucking teenagers, wished him into existence. The movie would have been so much cooler if it didn't have that dumbass reveal, I think. And he was actually just a person.
Yeah, like, couldn't he be just like a person that was created for sacrifice?
Like that's literally what it is. He just isn't real. Like
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, if they just made him a person that was
better said. Like he is real, but he just like popped into existence 3 days ago, essentially.
Yeah, that's
It so undercuts the idea of like if you want to keep this entity alive, having an actual like someone having to give up for it. It's just so jank. It just it was such an unsatisfying way to end the movie. All right, what do we got to hit on next?
so there's a lot wrong with the show House.
Mhm.
Mostly it's medical anything is just whack as fuck.
It's
House just knowing every and any absurd, obscure thing, like he's a living thesaurus of a medical journal.
Yeah.
The aggressive illegal action he constantly takes with no repercussions.
Yeah.
But it's Hugh Laurie with the greatest American accent and the best dialogue writing you've ever heard. So we kind of don't give a shit.
You watch it to watch Hugh Laurie be Hugh Laurie. Yeah.
Yeah. What if Hugh Laurie was a raging asshole but was right about everything? The show, House, coming this fall. That's what it was. And it was fucking great. Big fan.
It played pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah. Love watching super clips of Hugh Laurie talking smack. It's freaking hilarious.
The condescension and demeaning of people, oh, magnifique.
Yeah.
Top tier.
Top shelf. Yeah. So, in later seasons, so he starts off with a team, 3 people, different dynamics, this, that, and the other. He ends up pissing them off, fucking them over, getting in trouble, to then come back, get a different team, and then eventually have basically all of them reincorporated into the team.
Yep.
Then hasn't learned his lesson. Later on, does the same thing. Ends up with a third team of just like the first and second team had character, they were interesting. The third team is just they're actors that are okay, but the characters were poorly written and the actors were really green. And it showed every time. It's like they were, I don't know, somewhere between miscast and too young or poorly. It just doesn't play well at all.
No.
And then in and around the same time, we get the horrid season where Hugh Laurie goes to like either is it an insane asylum or jail?
It's not an asylum. It's like it's like a rehab facility.
It's a mental rehab facility that he can't leave, so he's kind of in prison there, and he ends up rapping with none other than Miranda, the guy who made fucking what was it? Hamilton. Is in that season and is like his cellmate weirdo dude, and they do a rap together, and fuck me, it's cringe. Just both of them. Like Miranda is out of space on that show. It's just not right.
Yeah.
And like, everything was wrong about that season. But listening to Hugh Laurie like kind of rap, especially considering the guy is like a musician, like he has a band, he is like good.
Yeah.
It's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's just ugh.
Cause your roommate's a jerk. Like it's
Yeah.
not good.
And me.
Yeah.
And my suffering.
So here, I'll take over.
Yay!
I really like Jujutsu Kaisen. There's a lot about it I think is good. A lot about it that's kind of stupid. But okay, I have a hilarious thing to note first. The the author of of the series Jujutsu Kaisen, Gege Akutami, has complained about some of the creative decisions and that he doesn't like the main character because he's boring. The best comment I read on this article is, "My brother in Christ, you made the sandwich." Which, yeah, the truth is, Yuji Itadori is the most. He's the milquetoast shonen protagonist. He has his
Oh yeah.
moments. Like, he has his moments where he's good, he's charming, and he's cool. Fine. The fucking star of the show is fucking Gojo. It is Satoru Gojo, and it
Not
isn't
close.
close.
Yeah.
The man is fucking. He's walking Riz. Like, he is the embodiment of charisma and power. He fucking rocks, and he knows it, and everyone knows.
He's the house of freaking anime protect or
Yeah,
anime,
like he's the ultimate fucking Chad, and he's self-aware enough to not be a total cunt. So you, well,
his
no, no.
contemporaries disagree.
So like, here's what I mean. That like, he doesn't belittle newbies.
That's true.
Like,
he doesn't punch down; he punches across.
No. He put like,
well, I guess technically always punches down.
Yeah, I mean, he's always punching down, but like, he doesn't punch down on newbies. He punches down on like basically old aristocratic cunts.
Yeah.
He's like, you can do better. Fuck you. Like, but like he respects people that are trying to learn and grow and develop. Like, he is not a douchebag. So, and the inevitable confrontation that you know is coming is between him and the Sukuna. Ryoma Sukuna, I think, is like the full name. Anyway, it's him and fucking Sukuna. Like, they're gonna fight. We just know it. They are the two most powerful people that exist in the show. They're gonna fight.
Yep.
And they do. And it's awesome. And Sukuna is basically cheating. And Gojo is still beating his ass. Like, and so Gege Akutami went, I wrote myself a hero I can't kill. I'm gonna kill him anyways. And he just effectively fridges Gojo. It's just one panel, like, he effectively cuts Gojo in half. And for some reason, Gojo can't heal it. Despite the fact he's like regrown limbs at the drop of a hat. Like, he just can't
But you see, this was a special cut.
Yeah, like, it's so stupid. Like, why does it even just automatically kill him? Like, he's missing his legs. Sure, you'll bleed out. Oh, he can just stop himself from bleeding. Oh, he can grow a new pair of legs. Oh, he can do XYZ. So I don't understand why this is killing him. But like, also, you don't see it. Like, there's no. It's like, while he's somehow distracted, despite the fact that nothing has hit him previously. Like,
yeah,
it's so nonsense. Like, the author didn't know how to fucking end this fight cleanly, and he doesn't create an explanation or problem solve an explanation or anything, and he just kills him.
Yay!
Yeah, for like no fucking reason. Like, it's so stupid. And then he just kind of throws up everyone else at Sukuna, and they can't beat him until apparently fucking Yuji is effectively a long lost relative of fucking Sukuna, and can use some of the same. It's fucking stupid. It's so stupid. I don't. It is some fucking dumb writing. I don't know why. It just. He killed his own main character for no fucking reason. I don't understand it. It was done in such an inglorious fashion. I'm just tuning in to see what the rest of the series does because I'm just angry at it. Anyways, moving on.
So Hero Season 1 is one of the cooler, like, especially superhero shows, and this is before I think the MCU was like a thing, really.
Mm-hmm.
Started off so awesome, created their own landscape, very interesting, great, like, host of characters, building them up slowly in these like little vignettes. Fantastic. At the end, they finally come clashing together to deal with this big villain. So cool.
Mm-hmm.
The way it ends, so awesome. Some people pay a price, some people get like kind of trapped, have bad things happen to them. It's fantastic. The stakes are correct, well implemented without being too heavy to not remain interesting. It's tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
Then in season 2, let's pretend like nobody remembers any of this and do away with all this preset information. So I have some behind the scenes intel on this. So moving forward from season 2 on, each season there's no continuous storyline. They do an arc and then they start over. There's no building off of that arc almost ever. Except in that characters and their power. But even then sometimes that changes because, as we learned earlier from Misfits, that's a great thing to do, right? So what was supposed to happen was Hero Season 1 was supposed to, like, Heroes as a IP was supposed to be an anthology series, taking place on the same big blue ball that is Earth, but with some similar traipsings. Like there was a couple agents that worked for certain powers that be. Those would remain constant and kind of background characters. So you would have the same supporting cast, but not the same main cast basically every season. Really fascinating idea. You can play around with it, bring characters in from previous seasons to newer ones if you feel like they fit, which whatever. Awesome. Only that didn't happen. It was just every season was, it felt like sitcom meets drama in that every season was, all right, what problem is going to be this season? And then the season ended and that problem was gone, and then we need to come up with a new problem. There was no overarching story building of like long arcs. It was just its own individual story that spanned a season, and then it was over and we restarted. And sometimes in too many ways, in my opinion. But this was because there was a writer's strike after the first season of the show, and so the second season, it half got scrapped, wherein they kept the anthology idea, but the idea of getting a new set of rotating actors got scrapped, and they stayed with the same ones. So you effectively have the idea of an anthology, but being instituted with the same cast, playing the same characters. The fuck? Not the way it works.
Oh,
you can't take Jello and build a spaceship. You can't take sandwich bread and build a cake. That's not how that shit works. You pick something and you do it right. Ah!
Fucking freak! same energy. All right, to end our bad list, I have to hate dunk on Borderlands 3. I know exactly what moment I fucking just couldn't hang.
I'm out.
I mean, I paid the $60, so I played through it, but I knew at what moment it broke me. Pretty much an hour in, when you're gonna leave Pandora because you have a big ass boat and a key, and Lilith gets confronted, and the bitch doesn't just leave. She can teleport, or turn in. She can either teleport or turn invisible, depending which way you want to look at it. Either fucking way, you know what that's pretty good at? Running. That's pretty good at fucking vamosing and fucking off. She just doesn't. Like, she just doesn't leave. It, maybe I don't remember. Like, she might even use her teleport to try and fight,
Yep.
which she is fighting somebody that she knows is the anti-siren.
They kind of told him.
Like, yeah, like they're outspoken about it. They're public about it. There isn't anything up for debate about this. Leave, you dumb hoe! Like, it's so stupid. Like, and the whole point is she like that she should learn from fucking game 2 is not to be a reckless, hot-headed idiot. Like, her being a reckless, hot-headed idiot is why Roland dies. Her being a reckless, hot-headed idiot is why Jack gets to summon the warrior at the end of Borderlands 2. Her character growth is supposed to be her growing into a leader and someone who's cautious. And they just fucking don't do that. They just make her stupid. Like, the whole point is you're supposed to get on a boat and leave before these psychos show up. They're here, let's fucking leave. No. But be God, it's so stupid. It is such a dumb, dumb action point that just shouldn't have existed or should have been written in a way so that Lilith can't run. But they just don't, and it's so dumb.
Well, while my co-host impersonates a bulldog with a chew toy that's 80 years too old, we're gonna go on to the moments that made us want to marry a show. Nice. So subtle. That was tremendous. So Rick and Morty, I had gotten recommended to really highly. I think I watched it in order. It was like the first 2-3 episodes. I'm like, all right, I'm seeing it get slightly better. It's being bombastic to be the point of bombastic.
Sure.
You know, this, that. All right, haha, funny joke. And then in season 1, episode 4, got titled M. Night Shyamalan's, which also something to go back to do if you like naming conventions is just look at the names of episodes, especially ones with like really auteur writing casts, Rick and Morty being one of them, because the way they name the episodes is a gift in and of itself, and you often as a viewer don't get to see them.
You don't appreciate it or think about it.
Well, they usually just like don't show them in front of the thing anymore.
Yeah.
And so like it's like almost a hidden within credits joke, but they're always great. So M. Night Shyamalan is the one with I'm trying to remember the name of the aliens, but they're these scammers that are trying to get like
Sigerians.
Yeah, the Sigerian scammers, and they're trying to get like liquid dark energy or something. I can't remember.
Concentrated dark matter.
Dark matter. Yeah, there we go. And the whole entire episode is just light years of nonsense, but it really makes sense. And also, you get one of our favorite running bits of just, yes,
my man,
my, looking good, just like,
slow down.
Nice. Apples. Are you hungry for apples? It's just,
it's Jerry.
So fucking Jerry. It's so well written. It's so smart. The ending of just it's just so.
One of the smartest people in the universe, Jerry. They just blew up.
You can't. They just blew up. So amazing. And it really starts to help you realize, oh, that's what the show is. That's the writing that they're going for. And it's just tremendous.
Yeah.
And from there, it's just, you can't, until I think like season 6 or 7, I was not able to pull myself away from it. Recently, not the biggest fan. But that moment for 5 amazing seasons, sold.
Yeah. Episode 3 of Arcane is a crazy tipping point.
Oh yeah.
Episode 1 and 2 are good. Like, they are. They set up a lot of good stuff. They show a lot of good character. They, there's really good intrigue with like I just blanked on the bar owner's name. Starts with a V. Barrick? That's not
Hold on.
right.
Vander.
Vander, thank you. Some really cool stuff with Vander. Like, there's a lot of really good setup. And then fucking episode 3 is where they hit the chain of dominoes they have set up so well. Oh my god. Damn.
Yeah, I was a lot caught off guard.
Yeah, they like not only do they just completely change some people, like they just trauma change a lot of people. They just wax a lot of people in that episode.
Yeah, they waxed people that I thought
like they wax people they put time investing. Like you liked them.
Yeah, you
They
like
killed
them.
children. Like
yeah, that one was really. I thought for sure a couple of them might come back, maybe deformed. Nope, fucking dead.
They are in a pile of rubble. They're dead.
Yeah,
oh, damn. Like
killed them. I didn't think they would. I don't know why. Looking back, it's like, yeah, of course they did. But like the chief of police, I thought was like relatively untouchable for some reason. I thought she was more likely to turn bad, renege on her word. Nope, fucking kill her. Who cares?
Like
fucking slap in a second. Not like they don't.
Like
they do this really cool thing in that show. Yeah, mercilessly they kill these people, and it's done in this. I think they really did a great job in that episode, and just with the show in general, where the death of a character doesn't have to be this huge grandstanding drawn out Boromir end of Lord of the Rings.
Some of them are just fast.
Some of them are fast, but they still hold weight. They are able to pan over, hold over that pile of rubble for a moment, and let you feel it just long enough without drawing it out and mining it. It really is the most impressive balancing act of like just killing characters, I think.
Yeah, there's like a couple they mine, like they kind of mine Silco later, but that's so earned.
Yeah,
like
it's also the whole season has been about this.
But they do a good balance of both.
Yeah.
So so you are always on your toes. Like it's so good. And just like after that episode it's like, oh, because I remember when I was watching it as it came out, and so that episode finished like, I have to wait a week now. Son of a bitch. Yeah. I am super excited for season 2. November cannot come here fast enough.
If it had a better ending, I mean, I always looked from episode 1, but the way that episode hit me is similar in a way to the way I think it's episode 5 or 6 of Squid Game hit me, where it's the Pakistan or the Indian. I think he's Indian,
he's
right?
Pakistani.
Is he Pakistani? It's a long way to go from Pakistan to South Korea. He dies, and the way he dies is so consistent with his character, and you don't want to see it, but it's still just like lazy low. The way they killed the kids and Vander, I was shook, just like that episode of Squid Game where I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
All right, to move on to something a lot happier. Marvelous Miss Maisel was a pretty easy sell for me in the beginning. I like comedy. I like period pieces.
Sure.
And Amy Sherman Palladino, who wrote the show, I have liked many of the other things, even though I haven't like really gotten into them.
Sure.
Episode 1's going along well. I like it well enough. It's winding down. I get it. I'm like, yeah, I'm probably gonna watch this show a couple more episodes. It definitely is good. It's a little long for what they're doing, this, that. I don't know. And then episode 1 ends with her in a drunken depressed state doing an open mic and just annihilating. If this has not been stated on the podcast, I am a huge stand-up comedy fan, and this shit was just funny. Woman, man, snail, apartment building. It didn't matter. It was so fucking funny. And they just nailed it. It fit, and it was just the beginning of this. And then you got to see her build up and go, and this and that is fantastic.
Yeah.
But that end of episode 1 will really, I think, is a kind of one of the best litmus tests of whether you will like the show or not.
Mm-hmm.
If you do not like episode 1, you're not going to like the show. You can just drop it there.
Yeah.
Which is one of the kind of annoying things for me about like Rick and Morty and Arcane. First 2 episodes, if you didn't like them, you still could like the show because they're not super emblematic of what's necessarily going to happen.
Yeah.
Until that, turning point episode. I do really appreciate that the end, like the episode, really contained all that you needed to feel to get through the series.
Yeah.
All right, what we got up next on the happy wagon?
I liked the start of Fallout. I really did. I was pretty into it.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I'm like, oh my god, I love this show. I think it's episode 2. Um, it's episode 2 or 3.
I think it's 3.
Was it 3? Okay. Where they end up having just an absolute fucking slobber knocker of a fight over the escaped scientist, and it kind of comes to the cinematography is so good, and I recognize them going for the VATS system, which was awesome. But
for those that don't know, what is that?
So in Fallout, you can use VATS, where you can like basically build up points and expend them to effectively do like a kind of a slow motion shooting, where you like get to just like pinpoint target what you want to hit on something. And it does this little like slow motion play of like bullets just ripping through people or missing entirely, which always feels bad. And it ends with Maximus rolling up in his effectively stolen power armor and trying to kick the shit out of the ghoul, and just the ghoul laughing at him. And just the line, "You're driving the goddamn thing like a shopping cart," just got me. Walton Goggins had all the best dialogue in this show, and it just fucking killed me. It's not even close, and it shouldn't be because of that man's voice. To be fair, like, so good. And just the kind of glee he gets in that scene and how much fun he had with that show sold me. And just that, driving the thing like a goddamn shopping cart.
Yeah. Anytime that man gets to go slightly Western on an accent, I'm here for it.
Yes.
Also, you were right. It was episode 2.
Oh, it was episode 2. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't realize the scientist guy is only in 1 episode. Feels like he's in it for longer than that.
I think
he's only in episode 2. No, I just
really?
looked at it. I'm on IMDb. He is in 1 episode. It's episode 2.
Wow.
I know, right?
I thought he showed up in a little bit of episode 1.
No, it doesn't say so in here. I believe it's definitely possible, but
okay.
It just says 2.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know he's short-lived. The whole time it's just his head. Like,
yeah.
All right, what's next?
Next up, we have yet another. Well, my brain went blank. I can see his face.
Dan Harmon.
There you go. Dan Harmon, awesome creation in Community. Community was a really slow burn for me. That I think if it wasn't for, I can't remember the name of this channel. There's some website out there. I think it's still running where
Justin
this guy.
TV.
It was on Justin TV, but then it became its own website because Justin TV kind of like doesn't really exist anymore. And or became Twitch, depending upon the channel and this and that.
Sure.
But I don't remember the name of the website or the guy's account. But it was this awesome thing where you could click on. He just had all the episodes that were currently out for any one of these shows that he had on his website. You click on it and it would just play them, not necessarily, I think depending upon when you were on his website, either played them in order or out of order. And when I was going back to community college for the first time, I would occasionally just turn that on, lay on my bed, and watch episode after episode after episode. And I really got into Community. And it wasn't the first, I remember running into and trying to watch it initially in order, and it wasn't like, I don't know, it's like fine, it's good, but I don't get what the big stink is about. It's just like another like dramedy involving like a weird cast of characters at a college. I feel like these kind of exist. Obviously, they're different characters because it's community college. They're in all these age groups, this and that. Okay, sure. But then comes along season 1, episode 23, Modern Warfare, aka the first paintball episode. This is when the show really became its own thing and started just doing whatever the fuck it wanted. And really leaning into each episode having a different style of cinema being applied to the way they would shoot, the way they would write the episode. This one is, it's a war one. It's very much action movie. To that point, guess who the directors of that episode are?
I don't know.
Have you seen Endgame?
Yes.
The Russo brothers filmed the first paintball episode
Ah.
and many other episodes that would color Community's history, and that's where they got their start. The
Oh, wow.
Community directors, the most prominent directors that there were the Russo brothers, which is why if you look in the kind of like trivia notes on Doctor Strange, they reached out to Dan Harmon and asked him about how to write Doctor Strange because they were having difficulty because he is a very bizarre character.
Sure.
And he just came back with he has daddy issues and like solved it in like a phone call because Dan Harmon's a goat, literally and figuratively. This episode really has it all, really sells it, plays around with it. It's a lot of fun. It's just a great episode. It has a lot of great one-liners, as all that season does, but it just really started and showed the audience and like started it on this train of making each episode its own. It's season 2. They have a mafia episode. They have a this episode. They have a that episode. But each one kind of became its own experiment or showcase of a styling or a trope or a type. Before that, it was good, but it was very much, kind of traditional fare with just slightly better writing. And then this is when it really became its own animal. It's fucking awesome. And I never let go.
Yeah. Man, I chose some fucking sad ones. Barry was fun. Barry was an interesting show from the gate. Like it had such a bizarre premise, especially like I think at the time. I feel like it's been done a little bit at this point, but it's still fairly novel.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot about it. Like a lot of its initial charm early was the kind of executive dysfunction you watched. Like everyone kind of sucked at their job, and it was so amusing. Like, and you just said the goofy side characters really kept you involved. Like, it was so easy to just like look at Kusanagi and be like, "Wow, what a fucking scumbag," and the hilarity that Barry is not realizing he's basically being scammed. The acting class is a fucking sham, essentially. Like,
yeah.
It's so worthless. Like, I mean, for fuck's sake, like Kusanagi basically doesn't teach for a day because everyone's grieving, but he still bills them. Like, it's like, are you fucking kidding? But then you get to the end of season 1, and
It's like episode 5.
no, it's like episode 9.
We're talking about
There's 8 episodes in season 1. I think it's episode 7.
I'm gonna look into that. Continue.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're 8 episode seasons. Like they're weirdly short. And he makes the dumb mistake of recruiting another Marine who like this Marine's just an absolute fucking meathead. And they do the stupid thing of literally driving at a fucking plane. And so guys just turn around and shoot the car. Like like almost confused, like, what am I looking at here? Okay, like, bow, 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 bow.
Do they yell? I forget what they yell. It's not Rampage, right? It's like they yell something as they're driving up.
Yeah, they're just yelling something.
It's some weird term.
Yeah,
look it up.
it is the most stereotypical meathead jarhead behavior you can potentially imagine. Like if I said draw me a stereotype of a Marine, it's this motherfucker and his buddy. And so, yeah, Barry and his friend have gotten roped into it. His friend is like an accountant. Like his friend
No,
is
he used to work.
He was in logistics.
Yeah, he was in logistics. In
like but he has never seen a combat zone.
Yeah,
he has never fired he hasn't really fired a gun. Like he has, but not at somebody. And so the car goes crashes, and Barry ends up like basically being held at gunpoint by one of the people from the cartel. And he tells his friend, he's like, he is going to call his friends for help. We're going to die. Shoot him. And his friend does. And his friend is freaking the fuck out because he just killed a guy. And so he confides in Barry. He's like, I don't think I can keep this secret.
Yeah.
And Barry just goes, why did you say that? And his friend tries to back, but it's like, why did you fucking say he has to kill his friend? And he does. And for the first time ever, Barry the character can act. And he just comes in beside himself, goes up, walks, says his one line in Othello, leaves, and goes and smashes a picture and loses his mind screaming because he doesn't know how to deal with it. And it's one of the heaviest hitting moments I have seen in a show ever. It's like, what the fuck happened to the goofy haha comedy? What happened to people saying you were the king shit of fuckball mountain? What the fuck is this?
King shit of fuckball mountain.
Or suckball mountain, that's what it is. the king shit of suckball mountain.
Yeah, you're totally right. It was episode 7. It's weird. I thought it was earlier in the series. But yeah, right. I think that scene of just that contemplative scene, the way they pace it, the way they time it, of when he's in the car is just
so good.
Yeah, because I mean, there's episodes early that give you an insight into the kind of greatness that is the show. One of the first ones for me was like end of episode 1 when he goes out and like kills the Chechens in the car. Just walking back, he's like, "Fuck!" It's just like this little moment. It's little, it's very small, but it's like kind of somewhere between comedy and just like that character's like, I didn't want to do that, but also forced me into it. I'm good at like this and that. It's like it's very good sign. There's a lot
also, he just works them.
Yeah, it just
like... I love how the show says the stark contrast between like trained professional versus idiots, like who think they can do it.
Yeah. Also, really do appreciate, small random aside, I really love that the characters just empty mags. They're not like one shot, one killing.
Yeah.
Like when he kills the 4 Chechens, he empties his whole entire like
he just empties the clip into the fucking car. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Just, if there's more bullets, we're not. This isn't an apocalypse where we need to like go get the arrow.
We're in America.
Yeah. It's very fantastic and just great scene design. So I have, I'm sure, mentioned it at least a couple dozen times. I love the show Haikyuu. It's one of my favorite animes of all time at this point. I haven't watched it that long ago. The first 3 seasons are a must. After that, at your own leisure. I think season 4 was really weird because of what they did with animation and voice. I don't like change when I get used to something. So anyway, I was watching the first season very much out of friend said I'd like it. Friend said it was really good. I was like, yeah, all right. And I'm like a couple episodes in. I'm like, I get it. This kid's sweet. I like him. All right, this is fun. You're seeing them like get better, but you're not really seeing them play a match yet.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first time that they come close.
Mm-hmm.
Is season 1, episode 9. It's called, I don't know what it's called, but I call it the scrimmage. Okay. It's because it's the people that are definitely going to be on the team.
Mm-hmm.
These like 4 freshmen and like the other holdovers from like the 3rd and 2nd years, because apparently high school's only 3 years there. I don't know what the fuck. So it's them, and then a bunch of people that have graduated still like the game. They play casually, which is really, I do think, is a really cool little addendum. Is that this doesn't, and one thing I love about the show is this doesn't translate to superstardom. So much of American sports like shows is all about going pro. It's all about doing this. They play this game because they fucking love it, which is so pure and so real. Like you're not watching this show being like, oh, I wish it could be like that. No, you could be like that. Do you like that? Play that thing like they do, and then deal with consequences later, or just let that be your bliss. outside of your day-to-day job, like it is for these people that, you know, like they talk and they're just like they live around this little village, they have normal jobs, and they play when they can with their friends that they played with in high school. It's perfect, it's beautiful. And so it's them and a couple other people that are, they used to play on the team but they don't anymore. And one
Mm-hmm.
of them is this, I think he's on that side, yeah, one of them is this guy who used to be the ace.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, I didn't, you know, like I don't know if that's me anymore. And the other one's kind of like his a little bit simpy but best friend, who's like, I'm not going to play on the team if he doesn't. He's my ace. I'm not going to play without him, which is
Okay.
really cute.
Yeah.
They're both like goaded, which is like why they're making this scrimmage match to get back. Also, this is the episode where you get introduced to the coach, who does not want to be their coach, but he's the grandson of like their OG coach who like took him to like nationals or whatever.
Okay.
And so he's got that name. He also used to play, and he's like good, and he's a local star runner. And the guy who's like facilitating, like the teacher who does not know anything, this is great writing, doesn't know anything about the sport, so he can be one of the audience points where diegetically it can be explained to him what's going on, so that he knows, but also now the audience who doesn't necessarily know about volleyball can also be learning. Very, very smart writing. Something we're probably going to talk about in a future episode. So they have this scrimmage going on, and so we have a couple things that we as the audience want to have happen, and the characters want to have happen. We want these two guys to like get kind of re-brought into the fold, and we want this guy to be impressed enough to become the actual coach.
Sure.
And you really get to, spoiler alert, all that happens in a bag of chips, and it's fucking great. And there's this moment where you really tense up, where this guy who was gun shy because he wasn't good enough, like when they were trying to play for nationals one year, who was their ace but now doesn't want to play anymore, he buys into it hard, and he's just like, he keeps trying to like hit through, like, you know, spike it down, but they keep like blocking him really well.
Yeah.
And like, so it's this one rally, and he's just like, the setter's like, all right, who do I pitch it to? They've been going bad on this side, and he calls for it. He's like, fucking give it to me. And it's like, oh shit, guy's back in it. Oh fuck. And he's just such a quiet, soft-spoken guy. You're like, fuck yeah, just go for it. Come on, one time. It's like a fucking practice game. And you're just like, yeah, I hope he gets it. And he gets it, because of course he does.
Of course he does.
It's super beautiful. You get to have the main characters who have been kind of doing some busted shit show off, and have the coach freak the fuck out. He's like, all right, so this game's going along pretty, what the fuck? And he's just like spellbound by these two like absurd newbies. To wit, the teacher who's running the team is, if you look behind him, he's literally bouncing around like a nervous Nelly, like, see that, see that, and it's the cutest, funniest thing you'll ever see. I want somebody to gifify it for me so I can have it just as like a screen holder. It's so funny. But in that episode, you get a taste of what all the matches are going to be showcased like, which is really cool, and I like the way they do it. Mm-hmm. And like then once you start hitting the tournament arcs, it's all right. I could clearly go on for ages and ages. Eli, shut up. Take the mic away from me.
So
I said shut up and take the mic away.
Early season Stranger Things is fucking busted.
Busted.
And I think especially where season 1 is super good, and where it's like, oh damn, is when Barb gets taken.
That poor girl. That poor nerdy girl. Never had a fucking chance.
The poor girl did not deserve that. Because she accidentally nicked her finger. Or like cut her hand.
Yeah, it's like getting out of the pool party that she didn't want to even go to.
Yeah. Like she tried to be a good friend, and fucking Nancy was being an absolute tool. She was blinded by Dick. And like she gets yoinked and has nowhere to go, and just gets absolutely fucking munched. Like, and it does such a good job setting stakes, because suddenly you had time with Barb. Like, Barb mattered.
Oh yeah,
Like,
she was definitely one of those characters you didn't think was gonna die.
no, like there was no like
She reads the same as Dustin, but older.
yeah, like she was Nancy's Dustin.
Yep.
Yeah, like there was, and in many ways you kind of didn't know if anyone else was going to be taken because the whole, I mean, for all of season one, the whole shtick is around fuck, I'm blanking on his name. Not
Oh
David.
yeah,
Not David. What's his name?
the boy. I don't remember his name either.
Cast. Stranger Things.
The one with the bad haircut in season 3.
Will. Also, God, yeah, his haircut is
That
atrocious
haircut's
later.
so bad.
It's so bad. And bro, like they're queer coding him. Give him a respectable haircut.
Yeah. No gay man would be caught dead in a town like that.
Jesus Christ. Have some self respect, man. Well, yeah, like so you assume it's
Have some self-respect, you homo.
be a good representative.
Gay better, bitch.
Exactly. Loud and proud. Come on. Yeah, like it's set up to just be about Will. He's supposed to kind of be the only casualty in the intrigue or like in a small town of what happens when this kid goes missing. Nope, surprise, surprise. Like
Die, bitch.
this thing is still hungry. Like, yeah, it sets such good stakes and just throws another big wrench into the show. It's like, oh my.
I do love also, they could have had her be alive because they didn't show her die. They
Yeah.
show her get taken, it be horrible, she's missing forever, and then at the very tail end we see her, they're dead.
Yeah, it's
I do respect that they followed through on their promise as opposed to like kind of cheapening it, a la like what was it, season 2 of Invincible, where it's like
Oh.
what's her face is alive in a chateau. Like,
Yeah, oh, it's fucking duplicate is just there.
yeah, how's it going? I always keep a spare. All right.
It's like smart, but also why did you have a panic attack when you were gonna die and you knew you weren't gonna die?
Yeah.
Anyways, what's next?
Lover of Ted Lasso here. Again, this is a great. I don't know if it's. I would say it's pretty. It pretty well shows off the show in episode 1. Definitely by the end of episode 2.
Yeah.
Episode 1 does a really good job of showing who this character is, the circumstances coming into, and the people he's going to be working with. Cool. All right, so it's a fish out of water story. Cool, got it. Up until I think the last 2 minutes, you're locked in on, oh, okay, he's going to be an adjustment period, which is fine, but it's very run of the mill, especially given the setup. Until it is revealed that Rebecca has brought him there to fail to punish her ex-husband by destroying the only thing he loved, which was the soccer club, which is fucking awesome in every direction. It's like, makes sense for the person to be that punitive, makes sense for him to do it in that way.
It's so wonderfully selfish and jaded, and it fits.
Yeah. And it's just like, yeah, oh shit, that's going to be awesome. It makes sense. And for so much of the first season, that is this, even when you think she's going to be on your team, nope, she still is fucking about destroying that deep to her core. Even when like she kind of starts buying into the Ted Lasso-ness, she cannot relinquish her hatred for her ex-husband and wanting to punish him.
Yeah.
It takes until like the second to last episode or something.
Yeah, I think it's like the second to last episode of the first season. And she's like forced. Like there is outside intervention where it's like, you need to tell him.
It's forced, and it's realization of what she gets, another taste of how her ex sucks ass. Played amazingly by, I'm always going to remember him as Giles from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But played fantastically, and just comes into her office after the second person has threatened her that needs to give up on this stupid mission, needs to tell him. She's like, go fuck yourself. Let's go of her only confidant. and then is met by her ex-husband, who's like, "Oh yeah, I'm having a
Having a
yeah, we're
kid.
having a kid." Then she's like, "Best line. What are you, a character from the fucking Bible?" It's just so awesome. Uh, but he drops this dagger of a line of just like, well, I mean, when we talked about having kids, it wasn't that I didn't want to have kids, it's that I didn't want to have them with you. I guess I just had to find the right person or something like that. It's like, oh,
Yeah, it's it's
oh.
it's cruel.
Yeah, but he says it so high society where it's not like there's no cursing, there's no at you, it's just fill in the blanks. Draw the comparison, and then you'll see like
Yeah,
how profound of a slanderous statement that is.
yeah,
So terrific. And then her apology episode and the way they do it, like everything else they did in that show, sans the ending to season 3, in my opinion, busted. Can't be topped. All right, what is your last?
my last ringing endorsement for I'm like, oh damn, um, was where Walter White kills the like drug supplier in season 1 with a bike lock. I think it's like episode 4, episode 3 maybe. It's pretty early. It's like 3 or 4.
It's relatively early.
Right.
I'm trying to remember because the season starts up really slow.
So like episode episode 1 ends with him like not drugging, like basically poisoning 2 people.
Oh, is that really the end of episode 1?
Yeah, I think so. Because like they basically like they hold like Jesse at gunpoint and like show us how you made this. And so like
Yeah,
Walt takes him into the trailer and just like throws a powder into like boiling water and it just like gases them.
yeah. Makes impromptu like quasi mustard gas.
Yeah, like he just knocks him out and poisons him. And so like I think one
Well,
guy,
no, one of them dies from it.
yeah, okay,
That's the
like
reason
one.
I was guessing mustard gas. Is
Oh,
one of
that's
them
right,
dies.
because they fucking melt the body. Because they put it in a tub.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. It just fucking came
So
the
there's
ceiling.
that.
It's so gross. Yeah, but one lives. And so they literally tie him up with they put a bike lock around his neck and put him like tie him to a pole essentially. And they're not sure what to do with him.
Yeah, Jesse's not the killing type, and
Walter's not
new to
either.
the game.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Because he's still like he got in this to cook drugs to make money, not to dispose of people. Or so we thought. And so he tries to be human and like has a conversation with the guy. He's like, "Give me a reason to not kill you." And so they end up having this kind of like bonding moment where the guy like talks to him about having cancer because Walter passed out, like blacked out in front of him, coughing, and like dropped a plate that because he made the dude a sandwich. He was like, "You have to feed him," and he's like, Walter's finally is like, "Okay, I'm gonna let him go." Because has this moment of clarity and checks the trash can where he put what like he swept up the plate. It's a big like heavy plate, and there's a shard missing.
Yeah, he does this. He does this awesome job of putting it like laying the. It's such great visual storytelling because he doesn't like have this moment where he says anything. He just lays the plate out and plays puzzle.
Yeah, he plays like puzzle, and there's just clearly a section missing. So he goes downstairs. He doesn't say anything. He's like, "Okay, spin around for me." And there's a little exchange. And he goes, "Or are you just gonna stab me once I let you out? Or are you just gonna stab me with that piece of plate you have?" I think I just realized and tries to turn, and Walter just grabs the bike lock and pulls it, and just it's this really slow, really rough way to go.
Yeah. Also, gets stabbed in the.
Yeah, he gets like stabbed in the calf because the guy's like mechanically trying to stab behind him, which is really hard to do for the record. Like it's a really awkward way to try and shank someone going straight back.
I've practiced. Trust me.
Just stand up and swing your arms backwards. It's uncomfortable. It's weird.
No, I know. Just the way you said it, you're like, I've done it before.
Yeah.
Not the best way to shank a man.
It's not. Listen,
I would rate it at 2 out of 10 out of technique.
It's
now,
very,
if you do
very
want to shank a
suboptimal.
man,
Yeah.
take my TED talk.
Yeah.
The link is down below.
Yeah.
How to Shank a Bitch by Eli C.
Sensei could write a pretty convincing one. I know ways.
It'll be on our Patreon in the future.
Eli's guide on how to stab a bitch. Yeah, and so it ends with him just choking this guy to death out of necessity and just saying, "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry," and it is such an ignition of who Walter White is to be, where the ends are justifying the means.
Yeah,
and it's such a good moment in the show. It's such a pivotal moment in the show. That, or the other contender for this moment, is the fulminated mercury incident.
Oh, at Tuco's?
Mm-hmm.
That was a banger. That's
is
the one that like sold me like from a energy standpoint. I was like, all right, this show slaps.
Yeah, like it's one of those two moments. It's just like the absolute like, I'm fucking here. I am here for this show. Yeah, it's so good. Anyway, what's our last one? What roped you in?
To close this out, a friend of mine recommended another great show that I have to have recommended at some point. I'm sure we'll talk.
Probably.
It fits many different weird categories. It's a perennial contender to be on a list somewhere. It's Dirk Gently. So, my friend is a big Doctor Who fan. The show is British, or at least
the same energy.
It has a lot of the same energy with the main character. And I'm like halfway through the first episode. I'm like, all right, there's really cool shit here, but a lot of the traipsings are fucking weird, feeling to be this for the sake of weird. They're disconnected. I'm fucking with this, but it's also kind of hard to understand.
Sure.
And kind of wrap my head around. I don't know. And like Elijah Wood's being fine, but also, is playing Watson to this fucking
psycho Sherlock.
Just weird as shit, basic, like nice guy bitch version of Sherlock Holmes. I'm just like, I don't know if I can stand this. This is kind of, I don't know. And then Bart shows up. Bart is one of my favorite characters of all time. Part of it is her conception. So the actress who plays Bart, whose name I can't remember how to look it up. Fucking gorgeous. Just I've seen her in interviews. Mm. Damn. Yes, you're a movie star. You are woo. In the show, I wouldn't give her $1. She is just she looks like she smells.
Fiona Dourif.
Yeah, Fiona, honey, you did amazing. You're a phenomenal actress and not hard to look at outside of this role.
I haven't seen a picture of her outside of this role. God damn, she is gorgeous.
She's amazing.
She is hideous. They also, show.
The way they do it in the show is so good. She is hard to look at.
It's bad.
They do. It's one of the few times where they take they actually, like, for lack of a better term, up an actress truly. Like, yeah. Brienne of Tarth is rough, but she's supposed to be a knight, so it kind of plays. And lots of times where they're like, we're going to make him ugly. Like when they made Tyrion ugly in Game of Thrones, they gave him a scar on his nose. Oh no, he's hideous. What the fuck are we talking about? Yeah. It's such like this Hollywood versioning of ugly and not ugly is just like, you're going from like a 10 to an 8. Oh, the humanity. Yeah. They put this chick at a -7. She's fucking
ugly.
I can bratty, smell her through dirty. My eyes. She is it's just matted hair from like just the mud from Mississippi. It was,
it's like someone wrote, all right, give me all the traipsing of the most gross stereotypical homeless person you can. And let's just slap it on her. Like,
yeah. Now inject it with meth. Like it's just
yeah. Give it meth mouth. Give it the worst dental ever.
From the second she arrives, she gets out of a taxi, which I don't think she drove, but also there's nobody behind the steering wheel, so I'm very perplexed. She gets out walking with a machete and a cup of coffee, as one does. Rocks up to a guy carrying a crossbow, parries, tosses coffee in his face, and just ends him. and then chases after the poor IT guy who has no idea what's going on. Runs him down to where they're both tired. Just the whole entire the actor who plays her eventual sidekick is just so adorable because he reacts the same way I would. I'm just like, no, and just like screaming and praying for his life and running away all at the same time. I'm here for it. He just nails it. Just no. It's just like the way he's running to is awesome.
I have no fucking idea how you say his name.
Yeah, I don't either.
MPHO. Mofo? I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're from, sir. You play the role great. I don't know how you say your name. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. But runs away from him. They finally both get tired out, which I do love. That there's a lot of, while this is a serendipitous world in many ways, in that her character kills based on like vibes from the universe, more or less.
Yeah. Just the homicide vibes, you know.
Yeah. It's just like, yeah. Also can't die. She's like, just also the way she talks is amazing. Like, I can't die. The universe won't allow it. Like, I think that's actually a pretty decent.
It's not as far off as you might think. Like, yeah. It does sound like she eats cigarettes. Like, yeah. That her larynx has seen some shit.
But when he finally falls down, he's like, "Why are you chasing me?" Or he goes, she calls him Dirk Gently. He goes, "I don't know even who that is." She goes, "Why didn't you tell me?" He goes, "'Cause I don't know even who that is." It's just like, such a great, powerful character that's also a huge idiot. Like, she doesn't know what a shower or shampoo is.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't
she like try to drink it?
She tries to drink it. She goes, "This water tastes weird."
Yeah.
And he's like, "So water." That's one of the coolest characters. The show ends up being great regardless of her, but exceptional with her in it. Would highly recommend it. And just, yeah, if you watch that scene in the show and you're not tickled pink, then that's not the show for you. Yeah. And with us gushing about that, it's time to go to an ad break real quick. And then we'll be out of here. See you in a moment.
Do you enjoy glorifying serial killers and worshiping crime in all its forms? What? No, of course not. But do you? Don't worry. You're not alone. There are tons of people who get a thrill hearing about the horrible, wacky, and sadistic things that the worst of us will do to one another. And thanks to the forced incarceration of the world during COVID, the desire for true crime documentaries has only ballooned into a social phenomenon rivaled only by the MCU. And whether you want to look at crimes gone wrong, bank robberies gone sideways, or just some of the truly awful and twisted and sadistic things from the minds of Ted Bundy and like, you can be sure that you'll find someone to narrate it at you in a pace that is just too slow for normal conversation. What are you waiting for? Find your correct criminal today.
Welcome back with that fun sound effect.
What?
Huh?
That makes sound effects. Deal with it.
So my recommendation of the week is Mr. In Between. This is a Australian crime drama. Isn't quite right, but it is kind of right. The story follows Ray Shoesmith, who is an ex-military guy, similar in a way to Barry, and went into a life of crime to make money. However, it doesn't come from that kind of perspective as much as mercenary doing mercenary things and living his mercenary life. Mercenary is also not quite right, just gun for hire. Anyway, whatever.
That is mercenary.
Yeah, it's weird. It's not being like conscripted into a band. He's getting like hired to do jobs. So like, hey, go collect from this guy, go whack this guy, go rough up these dudes, go scare this guy. So yeah. I don't know, the muscle, I guess.
Yeah. Muscle for hire, sure.
Yeah, but fantastic. If you watch the first episode, you know what you're in for. I think it's like the first scene. He shows up outside of a club, meets this guy. He goes, "Hey, you owe my guy money." He's like, and they get in a disagreement. Calls his boss. The guy apologizes over the phone. He's like, "Why'd you lie to me?" He's like, "Oh, sorry." And then he just clotheslines him over a fucking like 2-story drop off. And then it's just like cut to fucking like intro credits. It's like, yo, he's like, I don't give a fuck. It's like has very much set rules. You respect the guy while also being very afraid of him. And the show ends amazingly in like pretty stunning 3 seasons. Cannot recommend highly enough. Just pretty fucking awesome. Contrary to that, my co-host
I've been going, I want to say happier.
very much the other direction.
There's just
moralistically,
there's some dark shit still in the show.
True.
I've been watching a fuck ton of Steven Universe with other Eli because it's super charming. It's wonderful. It has some absolutely emotional whiplash that leaves you reeling. The show is great though. It's really good. It's really fun. It does a very good job being bite sized, and it's very approachable. It's fun. It's just kind of a perpetual thing of like derpy character growth, and then the sucker punch with like serious emotional topics like complicated grief and unrequited love, which is like, oh my
the
god,
feels, ow,
like surprise. The veneer of fucking pastel colored cartoons is just that, but it's just delightful. Like it starts pretty slow until like halfway through season 1, I think, where it introduces Lapis, and then like realizing there are other gems, it kicks the show into overdrive, I think.
Yep. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Yeah, it's great. It also does like a lot of well done representation without making a point to like draw attention to it, which I really appreciate.
It is seamless showcasing as opposed to and like overtly intentional. It is written into the foundation, not an afterthought. It is very much. It was there in spirit from the beginning.
Yep,
and
it does.
How do we make this more blah blah blah?
Yeah, and it does it without hating on anyone else in particular, which I appreciate too. Like, it's very queer and female coded, but it does it like without man bashing.
Yep.
Like, honestly, the most terrible people in the show are also women. Women can be monsters too. So, like, calm down, cats. Yeah, the show is just great. It's really wholesome, albeit at times rough emotionally.
Yep.
It's super good. Enjoy. It's officially done, and I'm excited to get to the end of it.
So something you don't need to get to the bottom of that I would really recommend listening to is Billy Talent. Got some great bangers. The way I've been referring to him in conversation has been the Dollar Street version of Green Day, or the dollar store version of Green Day. Very much just like, it's not a knockoff of Green Day, but it's in that similar pablum, just without the edge and catalog.
Sure.
It's exactly fine, and you just haven't heard it, and I would recommend it. It's kind of fun if you want that kind of just like whiny rock banger.
Sure.
It's just fun, good shit.
Sure.
Probably haven't heard before. Just try it out. There's a couple of fun ones in there. I think the one I've been listening to the most is like Greens. It's not Greensleeves, is it? I don't think. Hold on. Da 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 da. Fallen Leaves. I think is a cover. But yeah, it's just good. I think we've actually both heard a song from them. Maybe not. I thought there was one they did about like Valentine's Day or something, but I can't find it. Anyway, good. Check them out. They're fun. If they're not your cup of tea, you will know instantly. What you got on the old game?
I have apparently been conscripted to play a game with people next week.
Great choice of words given the title, which is
Space Marine 2.
It's conscripted to being a Marine.
Yeah. So it's a 40K title. Like, so it's in the 40K universe.
Oh, sweet.
And it looks like more Gears of War. That's really what it looks like. It just
probably inspired in the opposite way, but yeah.
Probably. But like as far as like gameplay goes, it looks very Gears of War oriented. which great. I loved Gears of War. It was a really fun cover shooter. I played all three of them with my buddy Ian. Um, and so this just came out. It's got very rave reviews. It's been a lot of people are basically saying it's super fun. So my buddy Murphy and Bill and maybe some other people will probably get in on it and play the shit out of it. So I am super jazzed. Should be a lot of fun.
All right, and to close out today, what are we quoting?
We are going to clip on one of a classic from our childhood, the Blues Brothers.
All right, let me get out the old handy calculator here. Stopwatch or no timer. 2 minutes. Ready, set, fire.
$5,000, no problem. We'll have it for you in the morning. Let's go, Elwood.
We're on a mission from Gad.
Boys, you got to learn not to talk to nuns that way.
Bring me 4 fried chickens and a Coke.
You want legs of thighs in them chickens.
4 fried chickens and a Coke. Oh, we got both kinds. We got country and western.
That's right. We're the good old Blues Brothers.
You want out of this parking lot? Okay.
Now, do you have the Miss Piggy to go with?
Our Lady of Blessed Acceleration, don't fail me now.
Illinois Nazis. I hate Illinois Nazis.
No, I didn't. Honest. I ran out of gas. I had a flat tire. I didn't have enough money for cat fare. My tux didn't come back from the cleaners. An old friend came in from out of town. Someone stole my car. There's an earthquake, a terrible flood, locust. It wasn't my fault, I swear to God.
So I have a tank of gas in the car. It's 160 miles to Chicago. It's dark. We're wearing sunglasses.
How much for your women? I want to buy them.
If you do not rejoin the band, we will be here breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day of the week.
No, sir, Mayor DeLay no longer dines here. He's dead, sir. Last one for the road.
How much for the piano?
Band.
$2,000 and it's yours. You can take it home with you. Matter of fact,
As a matter of fact,
I'll throw in the black keys for free.
Oh, well, that's our episode. Thank you for tuning in. And if you enjoyed this, please feel free to
Like,
comment,
share,
and subscribe.
but don't forget, new episodes of Super Prose Bros come out the first and third Saturday of every month.
Bye.